A married woman paid me to sleep with her husband while she watched. I'm Maya Jenkins, and 3 weeks ago, I did something I never thought I'd do. I accepted $15,000 from a married woman to sleep with her husband while she sat in the corner of the room and watched. I know what you're thinking. But before you judge me, you need to understand how I got here. I'm a single mom in Houston, 38 years old. 2 kids, 9 and 12. My ex-husband left us drowning in debt after he ran off with his dental hygienist to Arizona. I work 2 jobs, barely keeping our heads above water, and my daughter needed braces we couldn't afford. So when I saw that Craigslist ad, I stared at it for 20 minutes straight. Discreet opportunity. One evening. $15,000. Must be attractive, professional, comfortable with unconventional arrangements. The number had a 713 area code. Houston. Local. I told myself I was just curious when I texted. But honestly, I was desperate. And desperation makes you do things you never imagined. The woman who responded called herself Catherine. No last name. We met at a Starbucks in River Oaks, one of those places where everyone's wearing designer clothes and nobody makes eye contact. She was stunning. Mid-40s, blonde, perfectly put together in that effortless way that costs a fortune. Diamond wedding ring that could have paid my rent for a year. You're exactly what I'm looking for, she said, studying me over her latte. Natural beauty. Relatable. Real. What exactly is this about? I asked, my heart pounding. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. My husband has been unfaithful. Multiple times. I've tried everything to save our marriage, but he keeps lying. So I'm giving him what he wants, but on my terms. With a witness. You want to watch him cheat? I want to control the narrative for once, she said. He doesn't know you're being paid. He thinks you're a colleague of mine who's interested in him. One night. You spend time with him at a hotel. I observe. You collect your money. Everyone walks away. Something felt wrong, but $15,000 doesn't come along twice. Why me? I asked. She leaned forward. Because you look honest. Trustworthy. The kind of woman he'd believe actually wanted him. 2 days later, I met him. Richard Westbrook. 47, silver hair, expensive suit. We met at the hotel bar at the Four Seasons, just like Catherine instructed. He was charming. Too charming, the kind of guy who knows exactly what to say, how to touch your arm just long enough to feel intimate without being creepy. We talked for an hour. He told me about his commercial real estate business. Asked about my life. Seemed genuinely interested when I mentioned my kids. You're different from most women I meet, he said. Real. That word again. Real. I felt sick, but I kept smiling. Kept playing the part. Around 10, he suggested we go upstairs. I texted Catherine like she'd told me to. Her response was immediate. Room 847. I'm already there. My hands were shaking in the elevator. Richard noticed. Nervous? He asked, touching my lower back. A little, I admitted. Don't be. This feels right. When we walked into the room, I saw her immediately. Catherine was sitting in the corner, partially hidden by shadows, a small camera on the table beside her. Richard froze. What the hell? He said, his face going white. Catherine stood up slowly. Hello, darling. Don't stop on my account. Catherine, what are you doing? What you've been doing for years, she said calmly. Except I'm documenting it this time. That's when I realized this wasn't about catching him. This was about something else entirely. And I was trapped right in the middle of it. Richard turned to me, his expression shifting from shock to rage. You knew about this? My voice cracked. She paid me. The look on his face made me feel smaller than I'd ever felt. Like I was garbage. Like I'd betrayed some sacred trust, even though I'd met him 2 hours ago. You set me up, he said to Catherine. With a prostitute. She's not a prostitute, Catherine said. She's a single mother who needed money. Unlike you, who steals from our children's future to fund your affairs. I wanted to run. To disappear. But Catherine was standing between me and the door. I'm leaving, I said, grabbing my purse. Not yet, Catherine said. Her voice was still calm, but there was steel underneath. We had an agreement, Maya. You don't get paid until this is finished. Finished? I asked. What does that mean? She picked up an envelope from the table. I could see the thickness of it. All that money. It means, she said, that Richard is going to admit every affair he's had. Every lie he's told. Every dollar he's hidden. On camera. Or neither of you gets what you came for. Richard laughed bitterly. You're insane. No, Catherine said. I'm done being the fool. The next 20 minutes were excruciating. Catherine didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just methodically listed every affair, every suspicious credit card charge, every late-night business meeting. Richard denied everything at first. Then he got defensive. Then, slowly, he started to crack. Fine, he finally said. Yes, I've been unfaithful. Are you happy now? How many? Catherine asked. I don't know. Does it matter? Yes. He looked at me then, and I saw something in his eyes that made my blood run cold. Not shame. Not regret. Calculation. Maya seems nice, he said slowly. Pretty. Real, like you said. How much did you pay her? That's none of your business, Catherine said. 15? 20. He turned to me. Was it worth it? Helping my wife destroy our marriage. You destroyed your marriage, I said quietly. I'm just trying to survive. He smiled. We're all just trying to survive, sweetheart. Catherine's grandfather left her $40 million. My business is leverage and debt. Who do you think actually needs to survive here? Catherine's face changed then. For the first time, she looked uncertain. What are you talking about? She asked. Richard pulled out his phone. I'm talking about the fact that I've been recording this whole conversation. A setup. Entrapment. Paid coercion. How do you think a judge will view this when I file for divorce? My stomach dropped. You're bluffing, Catherine said, but her voice wavered. Am I? He held up his phone, showing a recording in progress. You involved a third party in a scheme to extract a confession. You filmed it without my consent. And you paid someone to seduce me. He looked at me. No offense. I felt like I was going to throw up. Catherine sat down slowly, the color draining from her face. I watched this powerful, composed woman realize she'd been outmaneuvered. But something wasn't adding up for me. Why did you bring me here? I asked Richard. If you knew this was a setup, why come at all? He smiled. Because I needed proof of her instability. Her willingness to go to extremes. This recording is gold for my custody case. You planned this, Catherine whispered. You played right into it, darling. I looked between them, these two wealthy people using me as a pawn in their chess game, and something inside me snapped. I'd been used my whole life. By my ex-husband. By bosses who underpaid me. By a system that kept me struggling while people like this threw around thousands of dollars like it was nothing. Not anymore. Give me my phone, I said to Catherine. She looked confused, but handed it over. I'd been recording too, from the moment I walked into the hotel. A trick my lawyer friend taught me after my divorce. What are you doing? Richard asked. I smiled for the first time that night. Surviving. Here's what's going to happen, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. Catherine, you're going to transfer that $15,000 to my account right now. Richard, you're going to add another $15,000 for trying to use me in your custody scheme. You're out of your mind, Richard said. Maybe, I said. But I have you on tape admitting to multiple affairs and financial misconduct. And I have Catherine on tape admitting to this setup. I send my recording to your business partners, Richard, and to your family, Catherine, and both of you lose everything. Catherine stared at me. You recorded this? I'm a single mom dealing with men's lies for the past decade, I said. Of course I recorded it. Richard's jaw clenched. This is blackmail. No, I said. This is business. You two have been destroying each other for years, dragging everyone around you into your mess. I'm just setting a price for my involvement. $30,000 total. That's nothing to either of you, and it's everything to me and my kids. The silence stretched out. Finally, Catherine opened her banking app. Fine. Catherine, don't, Richard said. Shut up, Richard, she said tiredly. Just pay her. We deserve this. 5 minutes later, I watched $60,000 hit my account. I'd negotiated up in the moment, and they were both too exhausted to fight. I deleted my recording in front of them, keeping my word. We're done here, I said. As I walked toward the door, Catherine spoke. Maya? I turned. I'm sorry I used you, she said. That wasn't fair. I nodded. Get a good lawyer. And maybe some therapy. I drove home at midnight, my hands still shaking, $60,000 in my account. My daughter got her braces. We paid off our most crushing debts. I put the rest in savings. But the biggest change wasn't financial. It was realizing that I didn't have to be anyone's pawn. Not anymore. Rich people think money makes them powerful. Sometimes it does. But sometimes, it just makes them sloppy. They forget that the people they use are watching, learning, recording. I'm still a single mom working 2 jobs in Houston. But now, I'm a single mom who knows exactly what she's worth. And I'll never let anyone make me feel small again. My name is Maya Jenkins. And this is the story of the night I stopped surviving and started living.